So we all know that ChatGPT does a strange thing that it's called hallucination. Also, it forgets data and also invents data out of nothing. So here was written on 2023 October about the so-called drift, divergence of results, or also called as variability in the jargon of LLMs. And this scientist, which presents himself as AI consultant plus scientist, presents here an opening statement about what is an LLM and why it does drift, a preface on the special definition of drift in the context of artificial intelligence, and he presents dissertations, explanations, and solutions. There's a level 3, there's a level 2, there's a level 1, there's a level 5, and there's probably a level 4. Let's read about this. There is no structured database within an LLM. Consequently, there are no definitive definitions of data. As any token can be requested and used by many different branches within the neural network, it can then be combined with many other tokens in countless different structures. Any composite token, being the sum of various other tokens, can itself manifest in many different forms with varying degrees of detail. The number of tokens used to construct the response is a factor, among others, that determines these different structures. For example, I am a very intelligent man. I am also an engineer. If you ask GPT to work with fewer tokens, it will answer, I am an intelligent engineer, also male. There are no read facts within LLM. There are no read facts within an LLM, only read statements. They can be falsehoods. In fact, many of them are. The internet is flooded of false data, fallacies, and biased opinions. And all that got into the LLM. Solution. Just as Elon Musk proposes the construction of a truthful GPT, and someone hastened to purchase the domain name, of which I took a screenshot for this article, similarly, I am advocating for a revolutionary complete redesign of the LLM type structure. We would leverage what we have already learned to guide the development as we construct a truly convolutional neural network that genuinely mimics the neural networks that exist in the brain. This assessment, this assertion, this affirmation of that right now we should create a truly convolutional neural network means that what we're using today, although it's called convolutional, is not. And there are deep scientific reasons for this affirmation. A fundamental feature is that they will have to include tokens that act as labels for other tokens, categorizing them as either an assertion or a fact. This is not red taming, perhaps labeling team or taming the beast team. This will be automatic and based on another underlying fundamental feature, which I mentioned below. A second feature is that it will have been taught to differentiate a fallacy from an assertion. These two key features can be incorporated into the design. They are already conceptualized and visualized. The system and training methods for this new type of neural network are even structured. I am in the process of finding the right incubator for this invaluable project within the AI industry. If you are interested in truly reliable AI, then be among the first to get to know when it's released. Alpha is already in demo mode to private acquaintances, etc., etc., etc. So this is about what is happening in Minervia. Let's see about Minervia. But there's a lot of more explanations here. This was only level 4 of the hallucinations. I would like to read another one that is very interesting. For example, let's read level 2. Secondly, the very learning process of the LLM operates with a technique called genetic mutation algorithm, which means that for any solution it finds, it changes a little, hence the concept of genetic mutation, and then compares both to determine which better satisfies the expected outcome. In fact, there can be more than one, actually many solutions that meet the criterion. and all of them will be part of that neural network after being trained. Later, when used, the selection between alternatives to choose which to present to the user will depend on any minimal difference, another token, added to the same combined set of tokens from the previous solution. In this way, many paths coexist within the LLM neural network, and the selection of the prevalent path will depend on its relative position within the assembly chain with other tokens, both prior and subsequent. Well, this is very abstract mathematical, so let's see the examples. Example, prompt, give me a biography of my black cat in 2 sentences. GPT response 1. The cat was black. It passed away a few years ago. GPT response 2. The cat you had passed away a few years ago. It was black. Both responses perfectly satisfy the expected outcome and coexist within the neural network. However, the first response does not explicitly state that you owned the cat. I assume you, as a human, you didn't notice this small difference. Most likely, neither would an LLM. Let's add a bit of ambiguity to the request. Prompt, give me a biography of my black cat, which I named after my favorite character. GPT response 1. You had a black cat named Soup in reference to Superman. It was black and passed away a few years ago. GPT response 2. You had a black cat named Bat to remind you of your favorite character, Batman. Sadly, it passed away a few years ago. But this can get even more curved slide. GPT response 3. You had a black cat named Bat to remind you of your favorite character, Batter. All of these responses are correct from the LLM perspective. There is no specificity regarding which of your favorite characters it can use. The generation process needs to be flexible and malleable to accept the infinity of prompts it may receive and to digest the multitude of data that it has read, synthesizing and fitting them within its billions of parameters. Because of this variability, the drift inherently comes from factory. Wow, this was a very good explanation on another level within the system for why it hallucinates and forgets and invents stuff.